When you think of the best fall colours, New England is one of the first things that come to mind. Picture windy country roads lined with charming towns, maple syrup farms, covered bridges and rolling hills, all surrounded by the most magnificent fall colours.
Driving beautiful scenic drives will take you to two of our favourite states, New Hampshire and Vermont. So grab a cup of pumpkin spice latte and enjoy the journey.
We're Ryan and Manuel, and join us for our perfect fall road trip across New England.
With only 3 days to explore everything autumnal in New England, we knew we wanted to beat the crowds and start our day early. So, after spending the night in the charming town of Eaton, we started our journey through our first state, New Hampshire.
First stop on our list, the Kancamagus Highway.
Also known as the Kancamagus Highway is an absolute must-do if you are in the area. This 34.5-mile drive takes you to the heart of the White Mountains and is considered one of the best places in New England to see the fall colours. The drive connects the town of Conway and Lincoln and takes just under 1 hour with no stops. However, you are going to want to spend more time here, as there are so many stops you don't want to miss.
The first one is the Albany Covered Bridge, built in 1858 and located in a super idyllic setting. This is one of the most photographed bridges in New Hampshire.
We're going now as far as I can tell.
A few minutes down the road, make sure you have a stroll at Lower Falls, where the river drops over smooth granite rocks into a large pool. It's stunning, but be aware that the rocks can be quite slippery.
Also, you don't want to miss the Rocky Gorge Scenic Area, a beautiful narrow gorge carved by glaciers that offers some of the best views of the rushing river and the changing colours. There is a paved and easy walk to get here.
Just got out, something's wrong. I waited up, wounds on my feet. Where will you be? Flickering through memories, Polaroids yellowed in the sun, longing to be seen. So come and hide with me, hide with me, hide with me. Come and hide with me.
One of our favourite spots was the Russell Colbath Historic Site, the only surviving 19th century homestead in the Swift River Valley, and all that remains of a former farming and logging community that once flourished here. You learn the stories of the people that once called this area their home, including Ruth Colbath, who for 40 years each night placed a lamp in the window of her home in hope that it will guide the return of her missing husband. It's also quite moving to see the resting place of the people that once called this place their home.
Nothing will be like it was, but you will always be my first choice.
Another stop you can't miss on the Kancamagus Highway is the Sabbaday Falls Trail, a 0.7 mile walk for all ages. While short and easy, it definitely packs a punch, with a beautiful path that leads to a stunning waterfall. Peak colours hadn't reached this part of the Kancamagus Highway yet, but this is a place that is going to be incredible in any season, like every single stop in this itinerary.
But if it's fall colours you're here for, nothing was going to prepare us for the array of colours we were about to witness from the many viewpoints along the road. We couldn't believe our eyes seeing all the stunning yellow, orange and red trees. From every direction, the view was amazing, and trust us, images don't give it justice.
By the time we reached Lincoln, we realised what the Kancamagus Highway is about. It's the quintessential road trip, where what really matters is not the destination, but the journey to get there.
A short drive north will take you to our next stop, the Flume Gorge, located in the Franconia Notch State Park. We definitely recommend booking your entry in advance, as this is extremely popular.
As you arrive, you are greeted by a beautiful visitor centre that is your starting point for the Flume Gorge Trail, a 2-mile, one-way loop that takes approximately 1.5 hours. This is fairly easy, but it includes several uphill sections. The Flume is a natural granite gorge extending 800 feet at the base of Mount Liberty. You'll see towering moss-covered granite walls rising to a spectacular height of 90 feet, cascading waterfalls, historic covered bridges, glacial pools, glacial boulders, and much more.
Send me your songs of tomorrow. I'm dying to know it all. Stories of joy and of sorrow. I'm dying to know it all. To know it all.
After a brief stop at the Old Man of the Mountain, one of the symbols of New Hampshire that unfortunately broke away from the mountain in 2003, we were ready for what will become one of our favorite hikes in New England, the Artist's Bluff Trail.
This is a 1.5-mile circular trail that takes under 1 hour to complete, but it's also very steep. We recommend hiking the trail counterclockwise, as this way will be much easier. The hike itself is stunning, but it's the view from the top that is going to steal your heart.
Why don't you stay, 'cause I could really use a friend. Stay, please stay, 'cause my heart really needs
We couldn't believe the array of colours we could see from here. It's just something we will never forget.
If you're here during the fall season, be aware that the Artist Bluff Trail is likely to be very busy. So getting here in the early morning or late afternoon is recommended.
Only a 10 minutes drive from here, we stumbled into the house of poet Robert Frost, who lived here with his family for many years.
The Frost Place is a house museum and a sanctuary for poetry lovers. And because of its position on a quiet country lane and spectacular views of the White Mountains, you could really feel the inspiration that Frost must have felt here. If you visit, make sure you don't miss the poetry trail at the back, where you can read some of his poems in the landscapes that inspired them.
As the end of the day was approaching, we made it into our second state, Vermont, just in time for a little rest before continuing our adventure.
After having spent the night in the quiet and rural town of Peacham, we started our first day in Vermont with a brief stop in Waterbury to get a glimpse at the first Ben & Jerry's factory. Here, they offer daily tours and you can visit the Flavor Graveyard, the final resting place of retired ice cream flavors like sugar plum and oatmeal cookie chunk.
Only a few minutes drive away, we stopped at the Cold Hollow Cider Mill, where you can witness the making of fresh apple cider using a traditional press built in the 1920s and try it, both hot or cold. When here, we also treated ourselves to some of the legendary apple cider donuts, freshly baked at the mill and an absolute signature taste of autumn in Vermont. They were so delicious. Inside, you can explore the shop that sells local products and souvenirs. This stop is very popular, so we definitely recommend getting here before all of the tour buses arrive.
Only a 10 minutes drive from here, we stopped at the Brook Cover Bridge. Built in 1844, it's better known as Emily's Bridge, for the young broken-hearted girl who legend says took her own life waiting for her lover, and whose ghost is said to still haunt the bridge.
A short drive from here, we visited the quintessential New England town of Stowe, a truly perfect spot to feel the autumn vibes. This is a perfect place for a stroll along the main street, holding a pumpkin spice latte and enjoying the quaint atmosphere and the laid-back vibe, surrounded by cafes and independent shops. If you are in town and are interested in grabbing a bite to eat, we recommend making a reservation, as anywhere we went the queues were extremely long.
Also, we recommend stopping at the Stowe Community Church to get a wider view of the town and the fall colours. And also to take a stroll along the Stowe Recreation Path, which is peaceful and usually quiet.
Our next stop was the Von Trapp Family Lodge. Yes, the same Von Trapps you probably know from The Sound of Music. In the early 40s, after touring the US as the Trapp family singers, they settled in this beautiful area of rural Vermont, as the view of the mountains reminded them of their beloved Austria. It's here that in the 50s they began welcoming guests in their family lodge.
Most of the original structure was burnt in a fire, but the current structure is even bigger, and it's still owned and operated by the Von Trapp family. Here you can also visit the private cemetery where Maria, Captain Georg von Trapp and some of their children are buried. To tour the grounds, you need to pay a little fee.
If you are visiting, make sure you stop at the lovely Stowe Red Barn just before reaching the lodge.
But it was now finally time for one of the things we were the most excited about. The Percy Farm corn maze, a beloved Vermont fall tradition and a perfect autumn activity. The maze is designed every year by Paul Percy, whose family has been farming this land since the 1930s. If you don't complete the maze within 1 hour, you will get a phone call. And even if we entered the maze certain it was going to be super easy, we almost got the call of shame as it took us 53 minutes to find the exit. But it was so much fun.
Our next stop was the Stowe Mountain Resort, one of the most popular attractions in the area. The drive there was incredible as the fall colours were at peak. We couldn't believe how beautiful it was. Unfortunately, because we got lost in the maze for longer than we planned, we missed the last gondola for the top of Mount Mansfield, Vermont's highest mountain. We know it would have been amazing to see the fall colours from above, but as they say, there is always next time. The silver lining? It was still stunning to see the fall colours from below. We'll never forget the oranges, reds, greens and yellows that surrounded us.
To end our first Vermont day, we continued our drive on Smuggler's Notch, a spectacular 3.5-mile route, renowned for its tight hairpin turns, massive boulders and dense forests. Here, you can get out of the car and go on several hikes and really take in the landscape. The drive was absolutely magical, and it felt like the best way to end this perfect fall day.
We started our second day in Vermont driving to the town of East Corinth. It felt like a perfect autumn morning. Foggy, fresh and quiet. East Corinth may seem like a random stop, but being film buffs, we couldn't resist seeing the place where Tim Burton's Beetlejuice was filmed. But regardless if you are a fan of the movie, we still recommend stopping by.
After a very atmospheric walk around town, we bumped into one of our favourite New England views of all times, the one opposite the Warts River Church. It felt like we were staring at a perfect fall postcard and we didn't want to leave.
But it was time to head to the Quechee Gorge, the deepest gorge in Vermont. Normally from the bridge you can get a wonderful view of the gorge, but unfortunately only a section of it was open. It was still a cool stop and one we definitely recommend.
Only a short drive from here is the Sugarbush Farm. This 500 acres farm is located in a truly idyllic area. The drive to get there was itself worth the journey, and we couldn't help ourselves to stop a few times to enjoy the long windy country roads, the leaves falling, the white fences, all against the multicolored trees and the blue sky. It was a real full wonderland.
The farm has been run by the same family for 4 generations and is famous for its excellent wax cheeses and 4 different grades of pure Vermont maple syrup that are made in-house. As you enter the main building, you can sample these products and trust us, they were incredible. We may or may not have bought enough maple syrup to last us a lifetime. At the farm, you can also learn more about the process of making all of this, see the animals, and visit the store that sells local produce and souvenirs.
But our favorite thing to do here was to walk amongst the maple trees and see how the trees are tapped. It was so interesting and it gave us even more appreciation for the process of making the syrup.
Come on, get a grip now of all the ways we parted. You showed in your way when we stand and we were so united. Come on, get a grip now, just finish what you started.
We could have spent the whole day here amongst the animals, fall colors, wonderful people and delicious food.
After this, we stopped in the beautiful town of Woodstock, and if you are looking for the most perfect autumn vibes, this might be the place you are looking for. The town feels cozy, relaxing, cool, and has plenty of independent businesses, restaurants, and coffee shops. We recommend a visit to F.H. Gillingham & Sons, the town's general store, the Yankee Bookshop, Montvert Cafe, and Soulfully Good Cafe. Also a stroll around the Woodstock Inn and Resort with their full display.
We also loved walking along Pleasant Street to see all of the beautiful fall decorations. But our favorite area was probably the one around the historic Middle Covered Bridge. It was all we had hoped for when we were planning this fall trip.
After a brief stop at the Calvin Coolidge Historic Site, birthplace and childhood home of the 30th President of the United States, where Coolidge took the presidential oath of office in the parlour of his family home, We drove to the Green Mountain Sugar House, another family-run business that produces maple syrup. Here, we tried the famous maple creamies, which we can best describe as maple-flavored soft-serve ice creams, and wow, they were so good. If you are visiting, we recommend heading to the back of the building for a stunning seating area that faces the pond.
But all good things come to an end, and with the end of the day approaching, we had one final stop we absolutely didn't want to miss: the original Vermont country store. Opened in 1946 in the town of Weston by Vrest and Mildred Ellen Orton, it was inspired by childhood memories of Rest's father's general store, where people went to wait for the horse-drawn stagecoach that brought the mail, and where the smell of leather, kerosene lamps, and sugar maple logs filled the space.
The shop has creaky wooden floors and beams darkened by age and seemed to take us back to another time. It sells a huge array of products from nostalgic toys, clothing, and hard-to-find products for country living. It is a lot more than a shop.
As we were driving back to our accommodation, we just couldn't stop thinking about how lucky we had been to experience such a special few days in New England.
And from now on, when we think of autumn, we will definitely picture those windy country roads lined with maple syrup farms and charming towns, with those spectacular fall colours in the background.
We hope you enjoyed coming along with us, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an adventure, and consider giving this video a thumbs up. We are always out there exploring, and we cannot wait to take you with us.
And now,
See you down the road.